Farage just declared victory. And the terrifying part, if he's right, British politics as we know it is over. Because what he said yesterday wasn't just political rhetoric, it wasn't campaign bluster. It was a statement of fact. Reform is now the home for all conservative-minded people. Not some conservatives, not most conservatives, all. And then he dropped this line: "The turquoise tsunami is coming." Turquoise, Reform UK's color, a tsunami. That's not the language of opposition, that's the language of inevitability. So is he delusional? Is this just Farage being Farage, always overselling, always overpromising? Or has he actually seen something in the data that the rest of us are about to witness? Let me break down what Farage is actually saying here, because it's big. He's not claiming Reform UK is doing well. He's not claiming they're gaining support. He's claiming they've won the battle for the conservative movement in Britain. Past tense, done, over. Reform is now the home for all conservative-minded people. That's a declaration. He's saying if you have conservative values in Britain, lower taxes, controlled immigration, traditional values, skepticism of institutions, your political home isn't the Conservative Party anymore. It's Reform UK. And the turquoise tsunami, that's not just growth, that's domination. A tsunami doesn't ask for space, it doesn't compete for territory. It destroys everything in its path and reshapes the landscape. But here's what makes this statement genuinely dangerous, and I mean that for both major parties. Farage isn't trying to convince people anymore. He's moved past persuasion, he's at consolidation. And if you understand that shift from "vote for us because we're better" to "you already belong to us, you just haven't realized it yet," you understand why the Conservative Party might actually be finished. Let's look at what's actually happening to the Conservative Party right now. They're not just losing elections, they're losing identity. What does the Conservative Party stand for in 2026? Seriously, what? Lower taxes? They raised them to record levels in government. Controlled immigration? Net migration hit all-time highs under them. Traditional values? They spent years fighting culture wars they kept losing. Standing up to the EU? They negotiated the Brexit deal everyone hates. The Conservative Party has lost credibility on almost every issue conservative voters care about. And Farage? Farage has been consistent on all of them for 25 years. And here's the part conservative HQ doesn't want said out loud. The reform doesn't need to win power to destroy them, it just needs to exist. And when senior figures keep defecting to reform, Nazim Zahawi, others considering it, MPs whispering about it, the dam is breaking. Now let's talk about the tsunami claim, because Farage doesn't use language carelessly. He could have said wave, he could have said surge, he could have said movement. He said tsunami. That's what Farage is predicting, not just Reform UK winning an election, Reform UK replacing the Conservative Party as the permanent party of the right. And here's the thing: that conditions for that are actually in place. First past the post-electoral system punishes divided parties. If the right-wing vote splits between Conservatives and Reform, both lose. So one has to die for the other to live. And right now, Reform is growing, Conservatives are shrinking. The trajectory is clear. If this continues for another 18 to 24 months, by the next election, Reform could legitimately be the larger party on the right. And once that happens, the Conservative Party becomes irrelevant, not wounded, not struggling, extinct. So let's actually examine whether Farage's claim is true. Is Reform UK really the home for all conservative-minded people? Immigration skeptics? Absolutely. Reform owns that issue. Brexit hardliners? Obviously. Farage is Brexit. Tax cutters? Reform promises low taxes with no record of breaking that promise yet. Culture war fighters? Reform is explicitly anti-woke, anti-establishment. Traditionalists? Reform presents itself as defending British values. So what conservative constituency doesn't fit in Reform UK? One Nation conservatives who believe in compassionate conservatism? Maybe. Business conservatives worried about economic stability? Possibly. But those voters are a minority of the conservative movement now. The energy, the passion, the growth on the right, it's all with Farage's brand of conservatism. So when he says all conservative-minded people, he's not claiming 100% of people who ever voted conservative. He's claiming everyone who currently identifies as an active conservative, and the data supports him. But here's the really interesting part that nobody's talking about. This is great for Labour. Why? Because a strong Reform UK splits the right-wing vote. In 2024, Labour won a landslide with only 34% of the vote. How? Because the Conservative vote collapsed and split with Reform. If Farage is right, if Reform becomes the dominant party on the right, the Conservative vote doesn't just split, it disappears. And in a first-past-the-post system, that means Labour wins forever. Not because Labour is popular, not because Labour has good policies, because the opposition is divided. This is Canada in 1993. The Progressive Conservatives collapsed, the right wing split between Reform Party and Progressive Conservatives, and the Liberals dominated for a generation. That's what Farage is setting up, and Labour should be thrilled. But let's be fair. Is there a scenario where Farage is wrong? Yes, if the Conservatives and Reform merge or make a deal. If they create an electoral pact, we won't run against you here, you don't run against us here, then the tsunami gets redirected. Instead of drowning both parties, they combine forces and actually compete with Labour. That's the only way the Conservative Party survives. And Farage knows it. Which is why he's making statements like this. He's trying to make a merger politically impossible. If he convinces conservative voters that Reform is conservatism now and the Tories are fake, then any attempt to merge looks like the Tories surrendering, which, to be fair, it would be. So here's what you need to understand about Farage's statement. Reform is the home for all conservative-minded people. The turquoise tsunami is coming. Pause. That's not campaign rhetoric, that's not optimistic spin, that's a man who's looked at the numbers and sees the endgame. The Conservative Party is dying. They're not reforming, they're not rebuilding, they're dying. And Reform UK isn't just winning converts, they're becoming the right. The tsunami metaphor isn't about votes, it's about replacement. The danger for Britain, whether you like Farage or hate him, is that we're about to watch a 200-year-old political party disappear and be replaced by something much more radical, much more populist, much less tested. And the most dangerous part? The most dangerous part is that this isn't happening next election. It's happening right now, quietly, constituency by constituency. And out. So what do you think? Is Farage right that Reform is now the Conservative Party? Is the tsunami real or delusion? Should conservatives merge with Reform or fight them? And what does this mean for Labour if the right completely fractures? Drop your thoughts below. This is huge and the implications are massive. And if this breakdown showed you what Farage is really saying, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn notifications on. British politics is being reshaped right now, and we're documenting every moment. Thanks for watching. I'm out.